BMI, Brazilian Military Police, São Paulo. 6 years in, seen some shit, but nothing really shook me. Night shift, radio crackles in. Domestic disturbance in one of those favelas that even the locals avoid. Partner Louise groans, says it's the same house from 2 weeks ago. Woman screaming, but nobody ever answers the door. Whatever .jpg, let's roll. Get there in 10. Street is silent, dogs won't bark, no music, no yelling, not normal. House looks like it hasn't been lived in for years. Walls are mouldy, windows boarded up from the inside. Radio cuts to static when we approach the front gate. Louise knocks. No answer. Screaming starts again. Blood-curdling female voice sounds like it's coming from deep underground. Louise and I look at each other, unholster weapons, kick the door in. House smells like rot and piss. Dust everywhere, cobwebs. But the screaming is louder now, coming from behind the locked door under the stairs. Louise picks it with a pocket tool. Door creaks open. Just a narrow staircase, pitch black. Shine flashlight. See red smears on the wall. Louise mumbles something about getting back up. Radio still just static. Decide to go down. Stairs go on forever. Seriously, feels like we're walking for 5 full minutes. Temperature drops the further we go. Flashlight starts flickering. Finally hit the bottom. It's a concrete room. In the center, a wooden chair. Straps and dried blood all over it. Walls covered in symbols. Like crosses, but melted wrong. Louise says they're Macumba, but not any he's seen. No source of light, but everything is dimly glowing. Screaming stops. Dead silence. Suddenly, hear a soft humming. Like a lullaby. Portuguese but old colonial era sounding. Louise starts backing away slowly. I move forward, drawn to something in the corner. There's a small hole in the wall, like a crawl space. Inside it, a woman. Naked, pale, eyes wide open, but not blinking. She's curled up like a spider staring at me. Say, Senhora, você está bem? No answer. She slowly starts crawling out. Arms bend the wrong way. Back legs click against the ground like hooves. Louise starts yelling, "Get out, get out." Open fire. Empty entire magazine. Louise fires too. Room fills with smoke and dust. When it clears, nothing. She's gone. No blood, no shell casings. Just the empty chair and symbols. Louise throws up and runs up the stairs. I follow. Stairs are suddenly short, like only 10 steps. We burst out of the front door. It's daylight. We were only in there 10 minutes. But it's 2 p.m. Chief doesn't believe a word. Body cam footage corrupted. Audio is just static and the woman's humming, looped. Louise quits the next day, moves to the countryside. I get reassigned. Go back a week later, off duty, in plain clothes. House is gone. Empty lot, grass untouched, no rubble, like nothing was ever built there. Years later, get called to a different favela. Same humming from a different basement. I'm not going down again. BMI, same Brazilian military police officer, São Paulo. Been a few months since the favela basement incident. Don't talk about it. Louise doesn't return my texts. I still hear the humming sometimes when I'm alone. Working solo tonight. Assigned to patrol around Say, historical center. Lot of tourists during the day, lot of junkies and lost souls at night. Guy on the radio says someone's been calling 190 over and over. Hangs up before giving any info. Only says he's in the tunnels. São Paulo has a whole underground network under the city. Old sewer lines, catacombs, subway extensions that never got finished. Cops usually don't bother with it unless someone goes missing. Caller gave an old maintenance entrance near Liberdade. Decide to check it out. Arrive, metal door is slightly open. Padlock cut recently. Shine flashlight in, reeks of mildew and something else, coppery. Descend down rusted stairs. Radio cuts out after 5 steps, of course. First thing I see is graffiti. Not normal tagging, full-on murals, people without faces, bodies wrapped in rope, arms missing, and something watching them. Tall figure with a triangle for a head. Echoes start. Hear crying. Low, male voice. Follow it through the tunnels. Find a guy sitting in the dark. Shirtless, legs crossed. Face covered in blood, like he was rubbing it in. Says he got away. Asks if I'm from above. Nod yes, keep my hand on my gun. He says, don't go past the 3rd door. Asks if I've seen the Cobra door yet. Says it comes for those who go where they shouldn't. Says it took his friends. Asks if I brought coins. I'm done talking. Radio still dead. Drag him out of the tunnel. As we're walking, I see it. Shadow moves where it shouldn't. Long, serpentine. Eyes glow like copper under the flashlight beam. Guy starts sobbing. Tries to bite me so I let go. He runs back into the tunnel screaming, I owe it, I owe it, I owe it. Gun drawn. Start backing out. Hear scraping, like claws on concrete. Turn around. The triangle-headed figure from the mural is walking toward me. But it's not walking. It's twitching forward. Body looks stitched together. Each step makes a sound like metal being bent, and is dragging a huge sack behind it. Sack is moving. Fire 2 rounds. No effect. Light dies. Everything goes black. Feel something brush past me. Like wind, but cold and wet. Wake up in my car. Sunrise. Metal door to tunnel sealed. Padlock in place. No sign of being cut. Check my body cam. Only footage is me standing still for 45 minutes, breathing heavily. Audio is just whispering, barely audible, just one sentence. You came without coins. Tell the chief someone played a prank on me. He laughs and says those tunnels have been sealed since 2009. Says they collapsed after a flood. Impossible I got in there. But my boots are covered in black water. Later that week, someone leaves an envelope on my desk. No name, just a single old Brazilian coin inside. From the 1800s. MFW. I still hear that whisper when I drive alone at night. MFW. I keep the coin in my pocket, just in case. Beamy. Same Brazilian cop, still stationed in São Paulo. starting to get used to weird cases. Boss calls me asombrado. Now, haunted guy. Tonight's shift is actually chill for once. Clear sky, light breeze, no shootings or bodies in dumpsters. Kinda vibing. Around 1 a.m. get a call about a noise complaint. Apartment building in Bella Vista. Old lady says her upstairs neighbor won't stop playing accordion music. Says it's wrong music. Asks if I believe in duendes. Laugh politely. Tell her I'll check it out. Go to the building. Very old Art Deco style. Elevator broken, of course. Climb 6 flights of stairs. Music gets louder as I go. Not exactly accordion. More like a wheezing, stretched out organ. Like someone is squeezing a dying cat in rhythm. Finally reach the door. 4C. Knock. Music stops. No answer. Knock again. Door creaks open on its own. No lights inside. Use flashlight. Apartment is dusty, looks abandoned, except for the living room, which is spotless. Table set with food, pão de queijo, feijoada, caipirinhas. Everything fresh, smells amazing. Sitting at the table are 3 small figures, about 3 feet tall, dressed like old-timey circus performers. One has a painted smile and no eyes. One has goat legs and a tiny golden trumpet. Third one's wearing a cop uniform from like the 1940s. They all turn to look at me at the same time. Dead silent. Flashlight flickers. Cop 1 stands up, walks over, sticks out hand, and says in perfect Portuguese, "Nice to meet you, officer. You're early." Brain.exe has stopped. He pulls out a tiny notepad. Asks if I'm here to file the claim. I ask claim for what? Says, there's been a breach. Something's using the body of an old man upstairs, pretending to be one of us. Asks if I have salt. TF. I say no. He sighs and gives me a little pouch of pink salt. Tells me to draw a keyhole under the man's window before sunrise. Other 2 start humming. Goat 1 pours a caipirinha and offers it to me. Instinct says drink it. So I do. Blackout. Wake up on a bench in front of the building. Sun is rising. There's a bag next to me. Inside, small bottle of pink salt, chalk, and a note that just says, "Don't forget." Climb back up. Find the old man's window. He's just standing there staring into space, not blinking. Draw the keyhole with the salt and chalk. As soon as I finish, wind slams against the building. Window explodes outward. Black smoke rushes out like a bird swarm. Old man collapses, starts breathing normal again. Paramedics say he had a seizure. Neighbors say he hadn't left the apartment in 12 years. Nobody knew his name. His fridge was filled with teeth. Don't ask. Back at the station. Check my vest cam. No footage. But there's 3 seconds of audio. Accordion music and someone whispering, "You drank well." MFW. I now get mystery caipirinhas from nowhere whenever I'm sad. MFW. I keep pink salt in my glove box. MFW. The goat guy winks at me in dreams sometimes. Be me. Civil police in Sao Paulo. Detective, homicide division. Not military police. I don't walk the streets with a rifle. I investigate what's left after the bullets stop. Slow week, nothing too loud. Get an anonymous tip through the internal line. Claims a ghost precinct is still active in Muka. Says one of our own is running operations from it. Corrupt stuff, blackmail, kidnappings, trades. Tip says you'll only find it if you go alone. LOL, okay, creepypasta, but I'm bored. Pull case files on the Muka precinct. Decommissioned in the late 70s after a fire in the evidence room. No follow-up reports, just shut down. Weird. Go there at night. Bring my off-duty piece. Building still standing. Fence rusted. Gate padlocked but easy to hop. Place looks untouched since the dictatorship era. See a faint orange glow from the basement. Descend the stairwell. Smells like old cigars and formaldehyde. Hear voices. Follow them. Basement office lit by candlelight. 3 men sitting at a desk. They're wearing brown uniforms. Not ours. Older, stitched badges, wrong logos. One has a typewriter. Other 2 sorting something into piles. I step in, flash my badge, say, Policia Civil, what are you doing down here? They barely look up, just keep talking, joking like I'm not real. One finally turns to me, holds up a pile of teeth, smiles with black gums, says, you came to relieve us. Nope. I start backing away. He grabs something from the drawer, slides it across the desk. A revolver, rusted, old school, heavy as sin. Says, 1 bullet, 1 shift. That's the trade. Others laugh quietly. Candles flicker. I blink. They're gone. Room is empty. Except there's now a large warped mirror on the wall. I look in. There's still 3 men sitting at the desk. And now a 4th. Me, smiling, stacking teeth into neat rows. Back out slowly. Find my way up the stairs. Night air hits me like a punch. Rush to my car. Check the dash cam later. 46 minutes of footage. I never left the vehicle. Except I remember everything. Hands still smell like gunpowder and old wood. Later at the precinct, I ask the oldest officer I know about the Muka station. He freezes. Says it burned down during a cleansing. Group of corrupt officers used it as a private black site. Internal affair buried it. Some say they never left. Just stayed underground. A week later, come into the station. Find an envelope on my desk. Inside is a single human tooth and a typed note. Trade accepted. Next shift. TBD. MFW. I never accepted anything. MFW. Sometimes I see my reflection typing on a typewriter I don't own. MFW. I still hear laughter when I drive alone at night. Beamy. Civil Police, São Paulo. Get a call from dispatch around 3 a.m. Possible 121, code for homicide. Location is an apartment complex in Consolação. Caller wouldn't give a name. Just said, he's still walking around. Cool.jpg. Drive over. Building is nothing fancy. Security guard looks half asleep. Says he didn't call anyone, but mentions a tenant knocked on his booth an hour ago. Looked pale, asked what time it was, then just walked away barefoot. Take elevator to 7th floor. Door to apartment 704 is wide open. Inside smells like burnt sugar and bleach. TV on, volume maxed. Playing static. Not even a channel, just white noise. Kitchen light flickers. See blood on the tiles. Trail leads into the bedroom. Gun drawn. Open the door. Room's empty except for a full-length mirror against the wall. Mirror has no reflection, like it's just a black rectangle. Suddenly hear footsteps in the hallway. Peek out. Nothing. Then I see it. Someone walking down the hallway on the opposite side. Barefoot, wearing my uniform. Same build, same haircut. He stops and looks at me, but I never see his face. Just a blur where it should be. Blink. Gone. Run downstairs. Ask security for the tenant list. There is no 704. Building only goes up to 6 floors. Go back to the hallway. Doors gone. Just wall. No blood. No sound. TV static still ringing in my ears. Check my body cam footage. 20 minutes of white noise. At the very end, a clear voice whispers, "You were late." Beamy, Civil Police, Homicide Division, São Paulo. 2023, assigned a cold case that no one wants. Original detective quit midway through it. Called O Caso do Menino da Rua Quente. Kid found dead on a small dead-end street called Rua Quente, Eastern Zone. Happened during a freak cold snap in 2021. Kid was about 10. No ID, no family, no one claimed the body. Kid was found curled up under an old plastic slide in a small playground. Eyes open, slight smile. Cause of death, hypothermia. Which made no sense because it was only 18 degrees Celsius that night. Too cold for comfort, but not enough to freeze to death. Body had no wounds, no bruises, no defensive marks. Not malnourished. Nothing in his pockets. Original report said there were no signs of struggle. Just the kid, curled up like he laid down and went to sleep. No drugs in his system. No alcohol. Nothing. Buried as indigente. Pauper's grave in Campo Grande. Report closed. Written off as a runaway who died from exposure. Only reason I'm even reopening it is because of the weird complaints that came in after. Every year, around the same date, July 4th. Locals report weird stuff. Not ghosts or anything. Just strange incidents. Kids' laughter at night. Someone knocking on windows. Plastic swing moving even when there's no wind. Harmless stuff. But it's always around 3 a.m., same day every year. No police response ever got anything useful. Until this year. A woman, Donna Lucia, calls the precinct. Says she saw a boy at the playground again. Says he was just sitting there under the slide. Same as before, she says. She was one of the original witnesses in 2021. Go to her house. She's old, probably in her 80s. Speaks slow. Tells me the boy used to come around before he died. Selling gum, lollipops, small toys. Says he always asked if he could stay for the night. She let him once. Gave him a blanket and some cookies. Says he left in the morning. This was weeks before he was found dead. Ask why she never told the police. She says she didn't want trouble. Didn't seem like a bad kid. Now I'm curious. Dig up old street footage from 2021. Find one blurry frame from July 3rd, 1:47 a.m. Small kid walking barefoot toward the playground. No one behind him. Next camera doesn't pick him up at all. Like he just vanished after that. Track down the original coroner. He's retired. Ask him about the hypothermia ruling. He says it's the only thing that made sense. No trauma, no overdose, no suffocation. Says he considered exposure maybe shock, but it bugged him. Temperature never matched. Says it wasn't cold enough for what happened to the body. Ask where the kid was buried. Check the records. Listed as buried in municipal lot 2021. But there's a problem. Plot listed doesn't exist. Number skipped. Site jumps from plot 248 to 250. 248 belongs to some Juan Batista. 250 belongs to a woman who died in 2020. Plot 249, the boys, is just gone. Grave records say he's there, but no headstone, no marker, nothing. Talk to the cemetery manager. He shrugs, says sometimes that happens. When it's indigentes, nobody keeps track. Says they dig wherever there's space. Doesn't help. Weeks go by. I file a report to archive it again. Another dead end. Until July 4th, 2024. Dispatch gets a noise complaint. Rua Cuente again. People say they heard a child crying near the playground. I go out. 3:22 a.m. Small cold breeze. Street is completely silent. Look around. See nothing at first. Then I see it. A single small footprint in the dust under the slide. Barefoot. Too fresh to be from 3 years ago. But no one else is around. I leave. Next day. Check the complaint file. Someone had added a note to it. Typed. Not by me. Not by dispatch. It just says, next year, bring a blanket. MFW. It wasn't a ghost story. MFW. Maybe it was just a homeless kid who got tired of asking. MFW. I've never stopped thinking that someone could have just said yes.